You could be the next billionaire. No, seriously. Most people wait until it's too late to figure this out, but not you. You clicked this video, which means you want to be rich. And nope, we're talking no lottery wins, no rich uncle mysteriously disappearing, no shady business deals. But how can you pull this off? Simple. Hacking the system. So how do you hack the system? Let's break it down step by step. Let's start with something nobody warns you about. The 9-to-5 trap. Yeah, that comfy little paycheck that lands in your account every month. It's both a blessing and a curse. Here's the thing. Comfort kills ambition. When you know that no matter what, you'll get paid on the first, why would you take a risk? Why step into the unknown when your job gives you just enough to survive, but never enough to escape? And fear? Oh, it's the sneakiest villain. The moment you even think about doing something bigger, your brain's like, but what if I fail? What if I lose everything? So you stay, you settle, and just like that, another 10 years are gone. Now let's get real. Our loved ones mean well, but they often hold us back. Why? Because they want us to be safe.
The people who love you, they want what's best for them, typically, which is that you're safe, you're secure, everything's okay. They don't really want what's quote-unquote best for you, because that's actually the scary thing.
Get a degree, get a job, buy a house, retire at 65. That's the formula they've followed, so they think it's the only way. Even Sarah Blakely's family expected her to follow the safe path: college, job, retirement. But instead of settling, she took a $5,000 savings, cut the feet off pantyhose, and turned it into spandex, a billion-dollar brand. Imagine if she had just stuck to her 9-to-5. The safest path is often the riskiest, because relying on one paycheck, that's one decision away from disaster.
That first step to buying that first business, and you're stepping out into uncertainty and the unknown there. And that's really like if I could give one thing to the audiences that have listened to me for the last 10 years on social media and on this podcast, it would just be the answer to taking that first step.
But hey, you don't need to quit your job. You just need to start thinking like an investor. Someone who sees money as a tool, not just a paycheck. Everyone wants to be a millionaire, but nobody wants to look in the places where the money actually is. The richest opportunities aren't flashy. They're boring. Now, how do boring businesses make money? Think laundromats, vending machines, car washes, storage units. These businesses, they're not sexy, but they print money.
You're dealing with broken machines, or there's somebody who's homeless messing around with some stuff. At a certain point, you don't even want to continue with a profitable business. And this is where people get it so wrong. All the time on the internet, people love to tell me, no way would anybody sell a business. That business made $67,000 in profit. So I bought it for $100K a year. Did $67,000. And people on the internet do one of two things to that. They go, no fucking way, it didn't happen. And why would somebody sell? And did you give them a bad deal? And the second group of people go, that's a terrible deal. I'd never do that deal because you don't have enough profit in that for that to be a business, not a job.
Why? Because they're low maintenance, high profit, and have way less competition than your typical start a tech company dream. A well-placed vending machine can bring in $300 to $500 per month in passive income with minimal maintenance. Now imagine owning 10 of them. That's $5,000 a month for a few hours of work. Take Johnny Ward, for example, an Irish guy who started as a travel blogger. You'd think he made his millions from blogging, right? Nope. The real cash came when he realized he could sell digital marketing services using the skills he picked up from running his blog. And just like that, $1 million+ later, he's financially free. Find overlooked opportunities that generate cash even while you're still at your job. Instead of working harder for your boss, why not make money on autopilot? You don't need to invent the next iPhone. You just need to find a boring business that pays for your freedom. Money doesn't come from wishing, hoping, or manifesting. It comes from a process, and if you follow it, you can't lose. Step 1, acquire skills. You can't make money without a money-making skill. And no, your degree in 18th century poetry doesn't count. You need high-income skills like sales, negotiation, digital marketing, coding, and copywriting. Step 2, monetize skills. Once you got a skill, sell it. Don't overthink it. People pay for results, so start offering your services. For instance, if a lawyer decides to sell online legal courses, no extra hours, no extra stress, just passive income rolling in at $250,000 a year. The secret is to make money with what you already know. Step 3. Save capital. Most people make money and then spend it all. That's why they stay broke. Even Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, lives in the same house he bought in 1958. If he can be frugal, what's our excuse? Step 4. Invest wisely. Your money should be working harder than you. The formula is simple. Learn, earn, save, invest, repeat. Now that you want to invest in some businesses, you might have one thing in your mind. I don't have the cash. Let's talk about the nifty trick called seller financing. Imagine buying a business without begging a bank for a loan. Instead, the seller becomes your lender. You take over the business, and its profits help pay off the purchase price over time. It's like the business funds its own sale. In 2019, a small retail store in California faced declining sales due to increased competition. The owner decided to sell but found it challenging to attract buyers who could secure traditional financing. Instead, the owner offered seller financing for 50% of the purchase price, down payment for 20% of the total purchase price, with an interest rate of 6% over 5 years. This attracted a buyer who lacked the upfront capital for a conventional loan. The buyer had experience in retail, but was deemed a risk by banks due to limited credit history. The seller's decision to finance not only facilitated the sale, but also ensured continued business operation. So why wait a decade saving up when you can own a business today? Seller financing lets you step into ownership without draining your savings. It's about working smarter, not harder.
And then to the second group, I'd say you start with a small business that probably isn't the greatest business for you to own long term, but businesses are like real estate. You can turn around and sell them after you get in the game. But I think of these businesses, I call them gateway drug businesses. They're the once you learn how to do a deal, you'll never see the world the same.
Even after all of this, let's be honest, most people will never be financially free. Not because they can't, but because they won't.
And then I realized that most people have really bad stories that they tell themselves about money. And you could tell, it'd be interesting, your next speech, you could try it. I tried it at one of mine, same thing. Men and women holding each other like they're being beaten when somebody talks about money. The average human feels that way. And so I think it all comes down to what we believe, which is hard for somebody in finance like me to say, Typically I would think, well, if you knew what to do, you could just do it. But that's not the case. It's you have to believe that you can do it.
Most people fear uncertainty more than they desire success. They want financial freedom, but only if it comes without risk, discomfort, or change. Excuses disguised as logic. Ever heard these? I don't have money to invest, but you drop $7 in Starbucks daily. I don't have time, but you somehow binge watch 4 hours of Netflix every night. I'm not smart enough to start a business. Neither was the guy selling pet rocks in the 70s. The truth, most people aren't broke because they lack money. They're broke because they lack discipline. The solution isn't quitting your job and diving headfirst into uncertainty. It's about starting small. Try to launch a side hustle. Invest in a small cash-flowing business. Learn a high-income skill. Because the difference between you and a billionaire isn't intelligence. It's action. No billionaire plays it safe. While most people are content with the security of a steady paycheck, billionaires take calculated risks. They don't gamble recklessly, but they definitely step out of their comfort zone. Take Jeff Bezos as a prime example. He was working in a well-paid finance job when he decided to take the plunge into the unknown. He left a steady paycheck and invested everything into building Amazon from his garage. No investors, no guarantees, just a bold idea and a massive risk. Fast forward to today, and Amazon's worth over $1 trillion. Bezos is now one of the wealthiest people on the planet, but it all started with taking that risk. If he hadn't done that, Amazon wouldn't have existed, and neither would his massive fortune. The actual risk is not taking any risks. Staying in your safe 9-to-5 job, avoiding any risk, and hoping for a miracle isn't going to make you a billionaire. It'll just keep you on the treadmill of life, running in place forever. If you want to change the game, you've got to start making bold decisions. The first risk you take will probably be uncomfortable, but it'll open up new doors and opportunities you never thought possible. Try building a strong relationship with money. Money is a tool, not an obstacle. The way you think about money can either make or break you. Most people view money as something hard to get, something that's always out of reach. But wealthy people see money as a tool, something to work with, multiply, and grow. If you want to go from average to exceptional, you need to shift your mindset from "I can't afford this" to "How can I afford this?" The difference in these two mindsets is the difference between someone who's stuck in financial stagnation and someone who's building an empire. Also, don't just hang out with your coworkers. Surround yourself with entrepreneurs, people who think about creating wealth, solving problems, and investing in opportunities. Did you know that 90% of billionaires didn't get rich by having jobs? They owned businesses. Kevin O'Leary, one of the sharks from Shark Tank, said it best: "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." And that's the truth. Take Alex Becker, who bought a small $200,000 cleaning business, and in just 3 years he flipped it for $1.2 million. That's a $1 million profit just by leveraging the power of small businesses. It's not about finding the next tech unicorn, it's about starting with something manageable and growing it into something significant. Here's the most important thing that people don't realize: time is one of the most valuable assets you have, and you can use it more efficiently than you think. Success doesn't have to take decades. What if you could fast-track your journey to financial freedom, cutting down the time it takes to build wealth dramatically? Instead of spending 10 years saving up or learning, when you can just learn from someone who's already done it. The right mentor can save you years of trial and error. You don't have to figure it all out yourself. Instead of spending years saving money for your business, why not buy assets today through financing? The same goes for learning. Instead of spending years reading books and trying to figure it all out yourself, invest in mentorship. Why reinvent the wheel when someone's already done it for you? Why wait years when you can compress that time and achieve success in months? Remember, you don't need the perfect plan. Just get started. But if you don't start, well, that's how nothing happens. The path to financial freedom is not easy, but it's definitely achievable. What's stopping you from getting started? Drop a comment below and let's talk. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more financial advice and entrepreneurial tips.